This is London with MarketHedge. Let's pay attention to Bitcoin making a nice recovery. The meaning for this week is very important in terms of where it just locked in for the week open. This is London with MarketHedge, former hedge fund owner, private, non-SEC, not financial advice. Taking a look at the weekly, we expected to push down. Remember, we were looking for that lower target, meaning that lower standard deviation on the daily, on the Bollinger Band. That was a target after the cross under reconfirmation on the 20. Bam, nice move to the downside. Now, with that extra push to the downside, the risk was, remember, we'd have an eye on the specific open for the week, which has thus far, guys, opened in line with the support on that 20 moving average on the weekly, which is an important metric. So as we see the start of the week, just congrats to all the bulls, congrats to Asia, which has opened the market strong. And let's go through a few other details that we were looking at in terms of the trades. Guys, I broke even on one trade in an account that I had doubled into lower than the trade that you saw. Did print some cash, guys, a good amount of money. So congratulations to anyone who did trade. I'll tell you, it wasn't an easy trade. It was a little bit of a nail biter, but looking at the details, this was one reason why. Let's just go through this. I didn't release the lower positions. We were underneath a troubling, yet still underneath, a descending wedge. You guys know that anytime we can get under, especially underneath, I wanted to get lower. I had stacked orders lower than the apex on a descending wedge. You guys know that these like to recover at least to the apex, and sometimes you'll get that slingshot to the upside. Now, Bitcoin being fair, we'll say at least being fair. What did we fail? And she's recovered back up into. If we take away this specific pattern formation, we were really looking at the bulls being treated in line with preceding probabilities on this broadening bottom formation. So the fact that she's recovered to this zone to provide a bit of at least a break even on these trades, like she did with me, and as well with you if you took that trade. If you compounded in lower, congratulations, way to go. That's the name of the game in terms of Bitcoin doubling down at lower levels. Never overexpose any higher price, and always with heavy cash reserves. Looking at this on the 4 hourly, this kind of slingshot move, bam, with some rocket fuel to the upside was a nice move. You got some shorts, isn't that great? We got some shorts, any of you bears to the downside that are still looking for that downside target. We'll go over one more chart here in terms of the 1/3. You guys hear me say it all the time. What is it? That's on the relative strength index, right? On the 4 hourly. What had we just done? What are the three options? What did we just complete? I'm going to call this a completion from the oversold to the overbought. What were our chances? Remember, our chances were 1 in 3. Why is that? Because when we get to oversold turf on the RSI, what can happen? First of all, the sellers can continue to engage and sell, correct? Or second, what can happen? It's exactly what happened. This is just textbook here, isn't it? Looking at second, what can happen as well, buyers can engage to mid-level, exactly like what happened, and then the sellers can regain control into oversold turf. That's the second option of what can happen. And I always tell you guys, the 1 in 3, that third possibility, which is what we want, is the sellers take price from the oversold to the overbought turf. Boom. So nicely done, 1 in 3. That's never to be overestimated. It keeps things simple. It keeps you from putting too much cash in, guys. It just does. As a matter of fact, we're a bit shy of this level. I'm going to call it satisfaction. I closed the underlying trade just so that you guys know it went quite well into the profits, and I'm proud with, I'm happy with that specific trade. So congrats to everybody who has been trading in the back or been following these orders. We stayed out of, for the most part, so that you guys know in terms of trades I brought you anything along this top, but I will tell you this was an aggressive area, okay? Not to be handled unless you were really banking on managed futures, I would say. It was that aggressive, and it was just unkind, particularly if you were trading anything other than Bitcoin. This top formation here was real aggressive, real unkind. So if you're on those altcoins, yeah, be prepared to always hold back, right? Be prepared to double down, triple down if needed at those lower levels. And that 4 hourly RSI, what did we see here again? This is the main takeaway, maybe the main takeaway. As we see the alts, etc., that have recovered quite a bit significantly in through here, is that, yeah, when this can pop, you'll see a pop in the alts. So keep your eye on Bitcoin, whether or not you're just trading Bitcoin, and be prepared for a capital distribution plan that makes sense, right? You've got some additional selling pressure, and then what did we do? We recovered into a zone that was at least a break even on this level trade, right where this did pay. Now, that doesn't always work out, but when it does, it feels equitable. So we'll be talking, guys, in the back VIP all week long. I want to shout out to J Mac. Appreciate all the input. Shout out to Luke, Big Luke up in Canada. Hope everything is well. If you guys are interested in being in VIP, I'll just tell you, we're having a fun time right now. So we're doing okay right now. You guys can join if you want to, but we're having a great time. We don't need any extra traders right now. We're doing great. So in terms of that, let's look and see if Bitcoin can produce back to this 115, 116 level. That's going to be eye on the prize here. Any backup margin protection spread across accounts, etc., with an exchange may have preserved some positions here and some accounts here wherein, guys, if you just got flat out liquidated, I know a lot of people in the markets did. And I'll just encourage you, when you read that news, huge liquidations, what are your fail safes? Do you have any fail safes? It can either be with huge capital reserves, right? Huge, heavy cash reserves, or it can be through some mechanism wherein you're staving off any type of liquidation. I'll say the main thing that we learned in this zone would be the following. In terms of any specific channel formation to the upside, try and stay out of it long to the right. Just try, guys. See if you can do that next time, unless you're scheduling in, unless you've got scheduled in what I would call managed futures, which is you're just powering in this whole zone here. You got it right. If you're just powering in with multi-accounts, etc., you may be doing that. If you're doing it and showing VIP, or if you're not showing VIP in the back, hey, have at it. That's what the game is all about. I don't expect you guys to show all of your trades in the back with VIP. So this is London. Hope you guys are doing well, and nice recovery for now for Bitcoin. We do still have that higher target to the upside. Do note on the 4-hourly, we are pushing along with the support on the weekly. We're also pushing up and over on this specific, standard deviation to the upside on the 4-hourly. That's going to be an important level for the bulls to try and maintain pressure up and over that 4-hourly, because that's a sweet ride if to the extent we can get up over it and maintain it. I would expect a bit of action in this zone, and nice constriction we see here right on that 4-hour standard deviation before the pop to the upside. This is London. Hope you guys are doing well. Let's see if the bulls can maintain up and over the 20. That's going to be their call. I'm going to tell you there are orders below. That's all I'm going to say in terms of my orders, in terms of your orders. Make sure you've got the heavy cash reserves without a doubt. And yes, there are orders below right now. The market got a little bit skittish last week, and while we have some upside targets, there are definitely some orders in this zone. This is London. Hope you guys are having a great weekend and looking forward to a great week. We'll talk to you guys soon. Take care. Bye-bye.